How to become a badass leader in your company. This is not one that I learned overnight, but it is something you can absolutely learn in this training. So grab a pen, a piece of paper. You might want to write some of this down. For those of you who don't know me, my name's Jeff Gamble. I'm out of Indianapolis, Indiana. Have a background in traditional business. I'm also a network marketer and currently a John C. Maxwell speaker, trainer, and coach. So today, what we're going to talk about is how to become a badass leader inside your company. And what does that mean? It means basically somebody that everybody knows is coming up. You're coming for a position, you're coming for the money, you're moving, you're making things happen. The question is how do you get that going? You know, how do you create momentum to even do that? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Number one, you are going to have to master the basics. You're going to have to master contacting, inviting, the presentation, the close, third party, know how to do events, go to events, show up at events, what you need to do at an event. Like I did a video on that, so you can watch that. But here's the thing. Not only must you master the basics, but the first level of leadership that you can possibly get into is position. You have a position in the company. And the position in the company is just how do you get started? You know, what position did you get started? Did you get started at the lowest level? Did you get started at the medium level? Or did you get started at the best level? What level did you get started at? Now, if you want to become influential in your company and you want to become influential over the people that are getting started, what do you think would be best? The lowest level, the medium level, or the top level? It's obviously getting started at the top level. The top level is basically where you want to get started if you want to be looked at as a leader. You know, which package are you going to get started with? You know, some companies have packages and things like that. Some companies have programs that you want to get started with. Where do you want to start at? And you're just going to have to make that decision. When you decide to commit all out and you decide to become a leader in that company, that's one thing that you're going to have to do. What position? Does that by itself get you anywhere? No, it just sets a precedent for things to come. So that way you can look people in the eyes and say, I did this, you can do this. Just depends on how you want to build. Now, second level of leadership is something called permission. Now, permission means that you have been in longer, you have more knowledge, and you have moved forward from everybody else. Permission is when people come up to you and say, can you explain to me, you know, that's how it starts out. I mean, the end could be 1,000 different things, but can you explain to me, and here's the thing, when you get asked from somebody, and typically it's going to be at an event, how do I do this, or can you explain to me something, understand you've made it to the second level of leadership, because when people start asking you stuff, people are assuming that you know the answer, first of all. They're assuming that you have some level of leadership, and you're becoming that leader inside of your, you know, first of all, you have to become a leader inside of your group and team before you become a leader inside the company. The next level is the level that typically will put you on the map. If you want to know how to be badass in a company, it's called production. Producing. Now, how do you produce? You basically produce inside of network marketing by, number one, having a plan to produce. Number two is the activity. You know, what activity? The number of contacts, the number of invites, and what it really always boils down to is the number of presentations. Guys, it really boils down to the number of presentations. I don't give a damn how many people you contacted. I really didn't. I personally never tracked how many people I contacted, but I knew I had to contact a certain amount, a lot of times, a lot more than I did the presentations. How many more? As many as it took. I set all my goals based on the presentation. Because the only way to get an answer, the only way to get a new recruit, the only way to get a new customer, the only way to get another referral is to present. It didn't matter how many people I contacted. It didn't matter how many people I invited out. Now, this is another common fuck up. I'll just say what it is. Fuck up of a new person is you try to go right from contact to invite to the meeting. Contact to invite to the meeting. Contact to invite to the meeting. Let me tell you why that's a fuck up. Because you're missing the steps in between. Woo! These steps right here. You're missing those steps. And when you go from here to here, you're only going to get about a 20, maybe 10% of the people will ever show up. So you're going to talk to 10 that you've invited and maybe get one to show up. But watch this. If you contact, then invite, then present to them, then third party, and then bring them to an event, you have basically an 80% show up rate. And if you have an 80% show up rate, you win. You have production. Because here's the thing. If you contacted them and they say, yeah, I might be open to something, and then you invite them to see the presentation, they say, yeah, I can talk right now, and you present the opportunity to them, whether it be over the phone or face-to-face or a webinar or whatever, not bringing them to somebody else's webinar, bring them to you. You present. And people are like, but I don't know how to present. They told me just to send a video. Stop sending the goddamn video. Nobody's watching it. Nobody's watching it. You're like, but nobody watches my video. I know. Nobody watches your video because watch this. Contact, invite, present. You present, third party. Third party. Then you can send them the video. This right here could be third party. That's a video. Anything but you is the answer to third party. So step 1, contact. Step 2, invite. Step 3, present. That's where the money is. Step 4 is then you go, you know what? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, you would refer me to somebody, or 10, you'd, get started in this. It would be for you. Where are you at? Well, I'm a 7. Well, if you're a 7, what do you need more information on? Do you need more information on the product or service? Do you need more information on the compensation plan? Or do you need both? And most people say, well, kind of, a little, there could be one way or another. That's where you send the video. Send them the video then. And say, well, I got a video that actually explains that better than probably I did over the phone, or probably this flipbook presentation, or probably the PowerPoint that I sent you that I walked you through. So let me get you that. Then, after they see that, if they still have, I said, well, now where are you at? Kind of on a scale of 1 to 10, now that you've seen the video and things, well, I'm kind of like an 8 or 9. Okay, so an 8 or 9 is like, I still have interest, I'm still skeptical, I don't have the money. I mean, there's different reasons why people are not ready to get engaged. That's where I'll probably bring somebody else in and then say, well, I'll tell you what, I can bring somebody, I know we have an event coming up. I'm not sure exactly which one would be the best one to get you to, but I've got a friend of mine who I've worked with that's done really well in this company. Here's what their background was before, and now they do this, and they're doing really well. And then I bring them in, and they bring somebody to an event. Now, if you can contact, invite, present to them, get them to third party, and then get them to an event, here's what I found. Here's what we've found. When I say we, the teams that I've built, I not only was one of the number one recruit, I was the number one recruiter several times in my state, but I also turned around and recruited and worked with, I didn't personally recruit him, but he was part of my team. I trained the number one recruiter on my team. And out of the top 10 people, 10 people, 4 of them were on my team in the whole state. Why was that? Because this was what we taught. And the people who got it made money. And the people who didn't get it were still trying to find some other dumbass way to send people videos that wasn't working. People follow people. They don't follow videos. People follow people. They don't follow just come to the meeting whenever. They follow people. So you have to be that person. So production. Production is where it all happens. If you can get to a lot of presentations and a lot of third party, you'll have a lot of people show up to an event. And if you're not getting anybody to an event, remember this. This is a phone. You pick it up and you actually fucking talk to people. And then you'll do the middle steps, which are invite, present, and third party, follow up with them. And amazing, people get in. It's so cool. Now, if you've never heard that before, I'm only being sarcastic because I think people say this a lot, but you don't hear it until somebody punches you in the face with it. I was that way. I kept trying to invite people to the event, and finally they were like, contact, invite, present. I was like, who's doing the presentation? And they're like, you are. And I was like, but I'm not good at it. Nobody asked you if you were good at it. They just said to do it. And when you do it, that's when everything happens. And you're like, but I'm bad at it. Then get good. How do you get good? You do it a lot. Whoever presents the most makes the most money. That's what it's network marketing saying. So next one, people development. When you're able to turn around and teach this to somebody else and they start succeeding, guess what? You really become badass inside your company. You really become a badass leader because now people know you can do it and people know you can get other people to do it, which means your leadership is raising. When you have multiple people, you've raised to level 5. And that's what you want to be. You want to be a level 5 leader, which is a leader that produces leaders, that produces leaders, that produces leaders, that produces leaders. And as one of the guys who taught me, he said, when you don't know 80% of your team, when you don't know 80% of your team, that's when you're really, really succeeding. So with that, guys, like this video, share this video, get it to somebody who needs it. I appreciate everybody for watching, and we've got another video coming out soon. Thanks.